Is buy-to-let investment still a good strategy in 2025? In this video, we're going to be breaking down to see if it's still worth it. In the last video, we've got a few comments like this saying that buy-to-let is finished. And by the way, thanks for the feedback, because it's good to get an idea of what your opinion is and what your perspective is on buy-to-let property. And actually, I agree with some of the comments saying that buy-to-let is finished, because for some people, it is. The landscape has completely changed over the past 10 to 20 years. There are numerous changes the government have brought in, which are anti-landlord and have massively affected the private rented sector. Even landlords who care about the tenant, fix any issues and don't raise any rent are being pushed out of the market. In 2023, 140,000 landlords sold their property while 100,000 entered the market. But what has actually changed, and why are landlords being kicked out of the market? So I think the most significant change is a Section 24 tax change. So say for example a landlord bought properties in their personal name, so if they've got a whole portfolio of properties in their personal name, they change the tax so you get taxed on all of the rent rather than just the profit. The next thing to consider is not only are landlords getting taxed to the fucking hill by Section 24 changes, but also if they've got a mortgage and need to remortgage on today's rates, Bank of England interest rates have gone up 4 or 5% in the past 10 years. So if your portfolio is based in an expensive area, London, Leeds, Manchester, the city centres of like massive cities, then you're going to be paying hundreds more per month in just interest payments. And if that's not bad enough for you, landlords are still expected to keep up with their responsibilities each year. So annual gas safety certificate, electrical insulation condition report every 5 years, and now, minimum EPC standards have changed to a rating of C by 2030. And that's not to mention other things like capital gains increase or rent reform bill, which is removing Section 21. So I can completely understand why people think buy-to-lets are dead in today's market. But are they? Yes, the government have made changes, but there's areas that do still work for buy-to-let investment. And the way I see it now is you've got an advantage over other landlords by entering the market now, as you can tick all the boxes. So for example, buying a property where you know you can get the EPC to a C, or setting up your business originally in a limited company, and also negotiating prices on properties that you know for a fact will yield with higher interest rates. So in my opinion, you can still set up a successful buy-to-let business in 2025. It just needs to be the right setup, the right property, and the right area. So fundamentally, we're always going to need property to live in. And like we said earlier, 160,000 properties were sold on the open market from landlords who are looking to exit the private rented sector. So where's all this property going? Well, I'd like to say that all the properties being sold to first-time buyers or people looking to buy their own home. But what we're starting to see is huge corporations like Lloyd Bank moving into the residential sector and buying up a huge amount of the housing stock. So Lloyds Bank are looking to buy 50,000 houses over the next decade alone. And then you've got massive corporate companies following trends. So you've got Blackstone, Goldman Sachs, Invesco, all these corporate companies moving into the private rented sector. I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but the main point I was trying to get across is people need housing. Some people genuinely aren't able to buy their own home, or they just want the freedom of being able to move from place to place. So there's always going to be a demand for housing, and right now is a perfect opportunity to get involved. So let's talk about the opportunity that's on the table right now for you and me. If you're like me and you're looking to buy buy-to-let properties now, this is the right time to do it in my opinion, because there's not much more they can throw at old school landlords before they go bust. So for example, let's have a look at one of my deals in the East Midlands in Lincoln that returns in cash flow, but also with capital appreciation over time. So here's an example of how you can win in buy-to-let investment in 2025. So we're interested in finding properties to hold in areas where there's redevelopment, jobs, employment, that kind of thing, where we can see there's clear trajectory for capital appreciation, but also buying properties at the right price so you still make cash flow with the high interest rates. So here's an example of a property that I've got in legals at the minute in Lincoln in the East Midlands. So the purchase price is 130,000, deposit is 32,500, solicitors is 1,500, mortgage fees 500, stamp duty 6,500, refurb of £10,000 for window replacement and a new kitchen, bringing the total investment to £51,000 and a gross rent of £1,000, which will net me £353 after all expenses. So the return on capital employed for this property will be 8.3%, and in the 4% capital appreciation plus the cash flow is 18.5% combined return. So hopefully now you can see that the buy-to-let strategy certainly isn't dead if you buy the right property in the right location and have the right setup. And if you want to learn a bit more about how I can help you build your own buy-to-let portfolio in the East Midlands, then feel free to drop East Mids down below and I'll be in touch. Thanks for watching today guys, and I'll see you on the next video.